But my advice to INEC chairman is very simple. You've done this before and glitched the system and then put in whoever you want to put it. That's fine. Nigerians have moved on that. But 2027 is going to be more critical for you. But if I were you, I'm going to salvage my image. I'm going to put my integrity on the line. Because you have done that and gotten your second tenure. So you have nothing to lose. You are in your last tenure as INEC chairman. So why not do what is right in 2027 so that history will remember you for good, and Nigerians will forget what happened in 2023 and hold you in high esteem as you leave office after the 2027 election. So please do what is right. Ensure that proper electoral reform is done and the free election is free, fair, and credible. Let whoever wins take the mantle of leadership. Not all this glitching stuff and people's names are written in the result sheet and announced, and you ask people to go to court. Remember, God is watching everybody. Remember, it doesn't end here. At the end of the day, we all have our judge to report to. We're going to answer questions on how your stewardship. So let that be at the back of your mind. So as INEC chairman, do the right thing. Hello, my people. Welcome to my channel. This is Andy Media TV. A few days ago, there was an interview, heard by Mallam Nasir El Rufai on prime time in Arise TV, and the anchor, Charles Anangolo, was kind of, asking him some, salient question that concerns the coalition and El Rufai as a person, and why they are forming the coalition in terms of, their vision or their goal, coming together as a coalition party to be able to, wrestle power from the APC. So, in that interview, Mallam Nasir El Rufai touched quite a whole lot of stuff. And like I used to say, in some of my videos, that one problem we have, in Nigeria is that when, someone comes up with some information, people leave the message and attack the messenger. Oh, yes, I agree with you that, El Rufai has not been, in a good light, as the case may be, especially when it comes to this APC administration, beginning with President Muhammadu Buhari and the present, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he played a critical role supporting both, candidates during their, time. And at the end of the day, both of them came out to be, among the worst presidents that Nigeria has ever had. Their leadership has not, bring forth the desired result, and that is why El Rufai is now, kind of turning against the party and also talking about the candidate. I remember at the beginning of all these talks, to form coalition, if you ask him question about Tinubu's administration, he said he doesn't want to, comment. But now he's hell-bent, trying to, bring out issues, where he felt the government is not doing well. So, first and foremost, he was asked about the coalition, and he said that, that they decided that to follow it in two ramifications. One is to form a new party, which, they're going to register with INEC, and also to kind of continue to look for an existing platform through which, all of them, who are interested in this coalition can move in and galvanize themselves together and then be able to champion their cause. So, but as the case may have it, they have succeeded in, bringing up a new party, which they call All Democratic Alliance, ADA. And as we speak, they have submitted the application to INEC to be able to register the party. But I was surprised to see that INEC has over 100 applications, waiting for them, to go through and to be able to approve. And that 100 application includes the new ADA, that was just formed by the coalition. So the question is, why is Nigerians registering all manner of parties? Why? Is that what they want? I know the constitution allows for multi-party system, but the existing party, as we speak, I think there are about 70-something parties as we speak. They are not even viable. They can't even win local government election, most of those parties. And more, about 100 is still waiting to be registered. Does it really make sense? Is it that each family will have their own party? Is it what it is? Is that how they do politics? Is that how, they run this multi-party system? To me, I don't think it's making any sense, that Nigeria will have so much party running into almost over 100. It doesn't make sense. So the point is, the system has made it in such a way that everyone wants to have their own party so that at the end of the day, they will become candidate of that party. That is just the point. Because all these bigger parties, the ruling party, the All Progressive Congress, APC, the PDP, who is even already in comatose. We talk about the Labour Party, we talk about the SDP, Social Democratic Party, and the rest of them. The problem is that getting the candidate of that party, of these parties, has become a Herculean task. And that's why you see different people 5 people coming together, register one party. And we don't need all these kind of parties that are not viable, parties that cannot even win a councillorship election, not to talk about governorship or House of Assembly or presidential election. So there's no point. People can come together and, enter different, existing parties and strengthen those parties. So for me, I would have preferred that if Nigeria is going for multi-party system, as is already existing in the constitution, they can just make it to be like 5 parties. They peg a number, to the maximum number of parties that can be registered, so that people can be serious. And that's why you see defection. People just defect from this party because it doesn't get nomination. It goes to one unknown party and just become a candidate just like that by just dropping money on the table. And that's why at the end of the day, we are getting the kind of leaders that we are, having today. So to me, it doesn't really make, much sense that they're going to have this kind of quantum number of parties, being registered by INEC. So having said that, I think you made a point clear, in that interview that the coalition is not like when they formed the APC, where they have a merger of different existing parties, 3 parties coming together to form the APC. That in this time around, what they have is individuals, coming together to form a new party or to join an existing party to be able to champion their cause. So when you look at that, it's quite different from, what the APC, what bettered the APC at that time. And I quite agree with him, because when you look at that, you see former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, you see El Rufai, Mallam Nasir El Rufai, you see P2B. I don't know if P2B is even actively in this coalition stuff. I don't know, because the way I'm looking at it is as if he still want to run, solo under Labour Party. But we don't know yet until when the time comes. So when you look at that, you see different, group of people coming together with their team, trying to form this alliance to be able to compete, in wrestling power from the APC. And why are all these things, happening? It's happening because presently, what Nigerians have is not what they expected. Everyone, I remember in 2023, prior to the election, people were like, oh, that President Tinubu built Lagos. Oh, he's going to build Nigeria. I don't know what the outcome has become today. So the question I keep asking, has he built Nigeria? Even in Benue State, he made a statement that he had this kind of situation in Lagos where, people are fighting in terms of land ownership and all that. That he converted the challenge to opportunity. And I keep asking, he should convert Nigerians' problem to opportunity. And that's why he was elected. And he made it clear that he asked for the job. We should not pity him. So the point remains that, did he really build Lagos? Because that's the question I'm asking. Because if he does, that strategy or that template would have been, broadened to implement in the Nigeria as a whole. So, but we're not seeing the kind of result they are saying, he garnered in Lagos, in Nigeria as a whole. So, but we don't know, but we keep looking. He has spent 2 years already. He's already in his third year, and he has one final year to go for this tenure, except he wins, in the next general election in 2027. So when you look at all these permutations, you begin to, comprehend that the Nigerian political system is something that you cannot really understand, because it's driven by, selfishness, it's driven by self-centeredness, it's driven by what can I get as a person. That is just what the politics of Nigeria looks like. Nobody is thinking about, the people. Nobody is thinking about how to make the country better. Nobody is thinking about, the common man. Everybody is just taking care of himself and their family and cronies. That's what it is. So now, in that conversation, there's something El Rufai, said that, tickles my fancy. When the anchor was asking him that, you see, in 2015, you brought in Buhari, you supported Buhari, and Buhari failed. And in 2023, you supported President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and this is where we are today. It's not also delivering the expected result. So why do you think people will believe you when you come and say, oh, ADA is presenting this candidate and Nigeria should support, that candidate? And I think he gave the best and honest answer, and the smart one at that, by saying that, yes, I agree that I supported these guys and they failed. But today, I'm not asking people to support anybody. My point is, if you feel that the way Nigerian economy is today, the way Nigeria is governed today is favoring you, and that your level has changed from what it was during Buhari's administration, then vote for the APC. But if you feel that, no, this economy or this government is nothing to write home about when it comes to my life and welfare and my family, then you know what to do. All right. So to me, that's a honest answer, so which means it is the duty of Nigerians to decide who they vote for. It's not about party. It's not about El Rufai is in this party or Atiku is in that party or whatever it may be. So it is you that will do your self-evaluation. How is my life today compared to what it was before? Is it better off today? or was before better than today, and then you can draw a conclusion on which candidate, to cast your vote. I think that's what it should be. But the fact remains that Nigerian political system is being driven by ethnicity, religion, and tribe. That is just the problem. So I wish that the citizens can be able to, draw their conclusion based on these real facts. What is the economy today? What was it before? What is the cost of power today? What was it before? How is the roads before? How are they today? How is insecurity before? How are they today? When you put all these things together, you can be able to draw conclusion. So according to El Rufai, said that President Bola Tinubu has 91% disapproval rating. However, we have not seen the whole data that concerns this polling, so that we will know which methodology that was used, how did they collect data, what is the population size that was used to to arrive at those kind of information. So maybe along the line, maybe they're going to make that public, because we haven't seen that as the case may be. So again, many people have been saying this over and over again, that El Rufai was bitter because Tinubu did not put him in his cabinet, and he was dropped by Tinubu, and that was why he was bitter and decided to leave the APC to fight against Tinubu. But I think I've watched El Rufai in different interviews where he made it clear that whatever he's doing today has nothing to do with whether he's a minister or not. Besides, in 1999, when President Olusegun Obasanjo was president, he has been minister, minister of FCT, and he was well known based on the kind of stuff he did at that time. So he made it clear that whatever he's doing today has nothing to do whether he's dropped or not dropped, because first, he didn't ask for a ministerial position, and that is true. We saw the video where Mr. President then, I think he was president-elect at that time, was begging him not to travel, not to pursue, his dreams and ambitions. Because when he left office as the governor of Kaduna State, being governor for 2 terms, he decided to pursue, his PhD and all that. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu begged him not to pursue those, that he need him in his cabinet. He want him to work with him. But along the line, that, promise that the president made to him did not come to pass. And the guy shelved his, ambition and things he wanted to do just to, satisfy the president, because he asked him publicly, and he made sure that he pressured him to accept that offer. And at the end of the day, the president failed him. So having failed him, that's not the point, because it was clear that the National Assembly did not drop him for whatever security report they claim they have on him, that it was the president who did not want to proceed with him for whatever reason best known to him. So the issue here is not about he wasn't part of the cabinet. However, if he was part of the cabinet, probably today he will still be defending the government, because that's what his job looks like. So when you are in that government, whether they are good or bad, you will continue to speak good about them. You continue to fight opposition. That is part of the job. So, but thankfully, he's not, part of the cabinet, and he said it clearly that he thanked God every day that he's not part of this cabinet, because he would have been spending his whole time and energy explaining to Nigerians why the economy is this way, why power, price is the other way, why the health sector is collapsing, and why insecurity is the way it is. And he thank God that he's not part of that cabinet. So that's what it is. So the fact remains that El Rufai has been the DG of Bureau of Public Enterprises, BPE. From there, he became a minister and then became a governor. So he has been in different kind of, positions in the past. So being a minister today is nothing new to him. He has been there before. So I think that Nigerians should learn that when you listen to these politicians, the truth of what happens in their parties or the way they run the government comes out when there are issues among themselves. That's when you see those who were disfavored will come out to tell Nigerians the real truth of how things are manipulated and how things are done. So I won't be surprised, to hear one day that how the 2023 election was, taken, the deals that went down the drain. Maybe one of these days, one of them will start speaking. So be patient. Don't throw away the messenger. Listen to the message. Take the message. All right. That is the main thing you guys should focus on, because truth comes out when these, gladiators in these parties are fighting. That's where you hear the truth. So El Rufai made it clear that most of the troubles you are looking at in different parties, PDP, Labour Party, even SDP and the rest of them, are being sponsored and triggered or facilitated by the ruling party, because they just want to disintegrate other parties to weaken opposition so that they can just, ride in a smooth, say. He has said it, P2B has said the same thing before, so it's not new. And we understand, how this whole politics plays out. And if you recall, today, everybody is just decamping from their party to join APC. And Mr. President has said it publicly that they should do what? Bring them on. They should bring them on board. But I laughed, because I said to myself, this guy don't know what they are doing to their party. By the time 2027 is coming close, they will see the heat that will be before their party. Look at what happened in the Northeast, the fight that took place because the vice president was not recognized when the speech, was held. Look at what is happening in Lagos. The APC cannot even hold primaries for local government chairman election and the councillorship election. It's full of chaos. It's full of protest. So these are just the beginning. So when all these guys who are jumping ship because they are looking for their second tenure, most of the governors we are looking at today, by the time the day comes, you're going to see what's going to happen. And even the presidential ticket, because they are already championing that the president will be the sole candidate, which means nobody in the APC will contest for presidential election. That is the way they are trying to go, which is disenfranchising people, which is, ripping people of their right to contest that election. So these are part of the thing that will trigger a lot of crisis in that party when the time comes. So we watch out for that. Again, most importantly, in that interview, El Rufai made a statement and said that it is time to remove the urban bandits. So he called those in power, those in Aso Rock, he called them urban bandits. That is time to take them out in 2027. And that through the coalition, the ADA, they are forming the All Democratic Alliance Party, they are about to register. Or if they fail in the registration, they have other alternative in terms of moving into an existing party to be able to, face the incumbent president. So he said it's time to take them out because they have failed. And it was clear that a lot of things is not, working properly as they should be. And then he said that one of the key problems this administration is having is that the cabinet of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is nothing to write home about. And he made a comparison when he was a minister. You have the timber and caliber of Nigeria among the ministerial, cabinet. And he mentioned people like Okonjo Iweala, he mentioned, people like Obieze Kwesili and the rest of them. So you have the list of the top-notch, guys that President Olusegun Obasanjo at that time, has in his cabinet. And you know how the economy was. We got debt forgiveness and all those stuff. So, but today, you say, looking at the present cabinet of President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that there's nobody there. There's nobody that has that capacity, to do the things that was, done during the time of Obasanjo, because they have a top-notch, candidate. However, it's not writing everybody off. There will be one or two people, within the cabinet that they believe can do something. But majority of his cabinet members are not people that have capacity and competence to deliver on their mandates. So, having said that, it's one of the reasons the country is the way it is. Look at the security. Who are the people in security? The person in the Minister of State Defense is the former governor of Sokoto State. Go and check the security situation in Sokoto when he was governor, and is still the same person that is, Minister of Defense for state. So when you look at the kind of, people that was put into different kind of position, then you will begin to wonder. That is why we are where we are. Before I was, expecting that the young guy that was put in the technology sector, Minister of Technology there, communication and technology, I was expecting that by now Nigerian data supposed to have been, mined and integrated, so that police, road safety, banks and all this things will have access to an integrated data. But today, every data is still disjointed. So I don't know what they are doing as a government, because we need this data for planning. We need this data to, improve security. That's the reason. You see, bandits, they collect ransoms and they display it on TikTok, display it on social media, and nothing happens. And they make calls with phone number that has a name. So how come they are not traced? How come nobody knows their location? But the moment somebody posts something that kind of criticize, the government, the next thing you know, the person is arrested by the police or whoever. So why is it that they can trace, people that has, divergent views with the government, but they cannot trace kidnappers and bandits who are collecting ransom and displaying it on social media? That is the question people are asking. So there's quite a whole lot that need to be done, in the country. But the country is not kind of moving in the right direction. Because when you look at the state of the economy, things are getting tougher every day. And Nigerians are scrambling on how to survive. But those in government are living large. They're enjoying luxuries of life, from the National Assembly to the presidency to state governors and all that. And like they said, that the state governor receives so much allocation these days compared to previous days because of subsidy removal. The question is, what impact has those funds has on the people? We have heard about constituency projects, how it's almost 7 trillion was added in the budget. And I saw members of the Senate the other day shouting that there are no releases for those projects that they inserted in the budget. Why should they have releases? On whose interests are those projects? That is the point. So when you look at what goes on in government, it's just everyday corruption going on daily basis, and nobody is coming down. Nobody is coming corruption. I recall at the beginning of President Bola Tinubu's administration, we have the saga with humanitarian, the Edugate, where monies were, billions were spent. Until date, the woman was removed, but till date, there's no prosecution yet. For 2 years now, there's no prosecution. So how is the country fighting corruption? How? So these are part of the things that when people look at, they keep wondering, are we going forward? Are we going backward? Then you come to how they treat local investors. They demolish people's business at will. They do all kinds of stuff, that, drive away, other, investors to come into the country, because the way they are too hostile, to domestic investment, to Nigerians that are even invested in the country, then how will foreign investor come in? When you sleep and wake up in the morning, your business is demolished, just like that. Because government wants the land, or because they give one kind of excuses or the other, and the business is gone, and there's no compensation and nothing. So we have seen that happen to Landmark, Hotel and Resort in Lagos, who has now moved to Enugu, to take care of INEC Resort Hotel in Enugu State. So when you look at all these kind of things, many projects not going through competitive bidding, are just awarded to allies of the president and stuff like that. That doesn't show a country that is accountable, that is transparent, and that is honest. So these are part of the things that they should bear in mind, that in 2027 Nigerians will use this to judge them. However, we all know that Nigerian voters, their vote does not count. That's what it is. At the end of the day, INEC gonna shut down the server and tell you that the system glitched, and they put in who they want to put in. But my advice to INEC chairman is very simple. You've done this before and glitched the system, and then put in whoever you want to put it. That's fine. Nigerians have moved on that. But 2027 is going to be more critical for you. But if I were you, I'm going to salvage my image. I'm going to put my integrity on the line. Because you have done that and gotten your second tenure. So you have nothing to lose. You are in your last tenure as INEC chairman. So why not do what is right in 2027, so that history will remember you for good, and Nigerians will forget what happened in 2023 and hold you in high esteem as you leave office after the 2027 election. So please do what is right. Ensure that proper electoral reform is done, and the free election is free, fair, and credible. Let whoever wins take the mantle of leadership. Not all this glitching stuff and people's names are written in the result sheet and announced, and you ask people to go to court. Remember, God is watching everybody. Remember, it doesn't end here. At the end of the day, we all have our judge to report to. We're going to answer questions on how your stewardship. So let that be at the back of your mind. So as INEC chairman, do the right thing. From now on, you have nothing to lose. As far as I'm concerned, you have secured your second tenure, and you're going to stay there to the end. So do the right thing in 2027 and ensure that only those who rightfully win are declared winners. That's what I expect you to do. So if you like, continue to do what you did in 2023, and then history will not be kind to you. So I don't know, but I think in that interview, that El Rufai had on Arise, on prime time, I was able to pick quite a whole lot of stuff from what he said. And I think he was kind of honest in his responses, in that interview, which I think that if you want to, take a look at that interview, I think you're going to find out on Arise News. I don't want to attach it here. I've just given a kind of summary, of what transpired in that interview with some kind of flesh up. So guys, I don't know what you think, for what he said. I know many people dislike El Rufai by virtue of, his role in bringing up Tinubu to government, and his role in bringing up Buhari, in government, and also his role concerning, security situation in Kaduna and all these Islamization allegations and stuff like that. So, however, whatever he has done is there on record. But for what he just said today, if you listen clearly to it and put aside your notion about him before, you'll be able to pick one or two things to work with, as this journey to 2027 progresses. So in my conclusion, I will continue to, postulate that the incumbent administration should focus on delivering dividend of democracy to the people and forget about 2027 for now. So what we need is governance, not even 2027 election. Until mid-2026, that's when you can be talking about 2027 election, and Nigeria can listen. Now people are hungry, they need food on their table. People are jobless, they need jobs. There is high cost of living. There is insecurity everywhere. The other day, after Benue, over 200 was killed in Benue. The other day, I think about 71 were killed across the country. So people die like chicken. And this is what government is supposed to do, to provide security for the people. That's the paramount, job of the government, to ensure security of lives and properties, and then the welfare of the people. So government has failed in this key primary responsibility. And that's what Nigerians are shouting. Please focus on delivering this, key issues to Nigerians. Secure their lives. People don't need to be dying on daily basis. You are traveling, you are kidnapped, you are killed in the bush. Is that what it is? Is that what governance is all about? And people are busy talking about 2027. especially the Senate president. Anywhere he stands in any forum, he continues to talk about 2027. The other day, they were welcoming the Akwa Ibom governor who defected from PDP to APC. It's the same story, talking about 2027. Is that what we will be doing? And I had most of their colleagues in the Senate talking about that. So the Dixon was against it, speaking against it, that we should focus on delivering governance to the people and not talking about 2027. And I concur with him, so that they don't lose focus in doing what they're supposed to do or what they're elected to do. So it's very important. So APC should, get themselves, their ass together. They already have power. So forget about coalition. They don't have the power. That's why they are working towards getting, the power. But you guys already have it. So use it. Use it to the betterment of the people. You are still doing as if you are still, campaigning and looking for power. But you already have it. So why are you guys competing with opposition? You don't need to compete with opposition. Opposition is to compete with you. That's the way it works. So you guys should, get your ass together and, be able to, make Nigeria work. All right. So I think I'm going to let this slide over here. And I don't know what your take is going to be on this. I know many of you have listened to this interview. So I would like to hear what your own views are. Don't attack El Rufai. Focus on the message he delivered. And let's, critique those, things he has said, in that interview, not his personality, because I don't deal with personality, I deal with issues. He has made, mention of a lot of things in that interview. So I want you to kind of listen to what I've summarized in this video, or you can also watch the interview yourself, in Arise News, because I don't want to add it here to make the video so bulky. So by then, you go to the comment section and let's hear, what you have to say concerning what he has mentioned in those in that interviews, and then we'll be able to continue to discuss further on how to get our country to start working. So that's what I will have to say there. So my comment section is open for you. Put in your comment in the comment section, and I'm gonna also respond, to those ones that require some response. And then if you are new to my channel, guys, so kindly subscribe to my channel and put on the notification bell so that when my next new video drops, will be among those to be notified. And don't forget to like and share this video and use the comment section. All right. So I'm gonna see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. I'm signing out. See ya.